Hola mi gente, ¿cómo estás? How you doing and how you living? Okay. Oh, that's his pillow. I just had to change my nose ring from the other one. It was hurting so bad. And then I realized that it doesn't have the L to go in my nose, so it's probably gonna come out, but it's cute or whatever. So it's Monday the 25th. I just got off work. I was trying to put together my fucking stuff and it was being an asshole, so I got it to like work with me a little bit and then it just stopped. So fuck yeah. But anyways, I was gonna talk to you guys a little bit today about Terrell because I do mention him a lot. I'm pretty sure no one like knows what we are because I don't even know. But I'm gonna tell you about our beginning, middle, and today. So in the beginning there was rap. No, in the beginning I met him in June on an app. It was an app and we hit it off like straight away. Like it was actually so kismet because it was like we knew each other already. Like we fed off of each other's energy really well. We were really cool. So he decided like we're gonna exchange information and he called me and we talked and it was still the same, so it wasn't weird on the phone. So like, you know, on texting people are a little more comfortable. He was the same shit talker, I was the same shit talker, and so we vibe very well. We had the same like language and stuff like that, so it was actually pretty cool. So we talked so much that that night he didn't want to stop talking. He had headphones, he was taking a shower, and that's where we lost connection actually, because I guess they weren't waterproof, and so that's where we lost the connection. But he ended up talking to me again and we talked about when we were going to see each other for the first time, which was the next day. I like a man about his business, I'm gonna tell you that. Not like, oh, what do you want to do type shit. He was pretty much like dead set we're gonna see each other. Now, did we have real plans? I think I had said, oh, we could go to the yogurt place and name the place, but he was quickly with the shits like already. So we picked the place, the time, and everything, because at first he was like, oh, let's meet up late like for dinner or something, but then he called me like early in the day the next day and was like, so what time do you want to meet up? And I'm thinking like 6 or 7 or some shit like that. He was like, no, like right now. So we meet up and we go to the yogurts, the froyo shop that I suggested. However, they had nothing that I wanted as far as flavors and dairy-free options, so it was a no-go. We ended up across the street. Now let me tell you, like we ran across the street and we went to this icy place and he got something cheesecake. He loves cheesecake. I remember that about him. He liked cheesecake like hella. And then I got like a Sour Patch Kid because I'm into gummy shit and candy and stuff like that. So I got that and I was drinking it, but I guess maybe babysitting it because I think he finished his and I still wasn't done. He ended up taking my straw, which I was like, that was the first red flag. So he took my straw. He put his mouth on my straw, but luckily I carry utensils with me, which he thought was mad weird. So I had the utensils with me and I busted out and put another straw and we just kept pushing. I was bringing it to the next restaurant, but for some reason he thought that that was a little ghetto or something. So he made me get rid of it before we went into the next restaurant, which I was very sad about. The next place, because he was like, well, I'm hungry, because I just thought after we did the icy place that we're kind of like good. He was like, well, I'm hungry. So he treated at the icy place, I treated at the sushi place. So we go to the sushi place, I get a veggie roll or something. He was very disgusted by it. I wish I still had the video, but I don't even have the same phone that I had at that time. But the video was hilarious if you would have seen him trying mine. He ended up like, because I didn't really like mine either, to be honest, he gave me like his sauce from his, because he got some with a lot of sauce on it. I don't know if it was a dragon roll or what, but he gave me the sauce from his. It did make it a little bit better, but I just wasn't vibing with it. The whole time we were there, we're laughing, we're joking, everything. We finally end the date because he has a a prior commitment with a tattoo shop that evening, and so he's like, hey, I gotta go, I got an appointment, I think at like 4 or something, to go to a tattoo shop. It's only like a couple hours. Well, that ended up taking like 8 hours. He wanted us to link after his tattoo, but he was there forever. He was texting me, he fell asleep, like there was just a lot going on with this tattoo place. And it's weird because when I got here, I was already looking for like where my next tattoo shop was gonna be, and the tattoo shop he went to was the one that I ended up googling. But I got my tattoo with my matching tattoo right here with Kimana. I got it right there. However, I didn't like it. I found my tattoo shop just by the luck of the draw when me and Kimana went last month. So we end up texting and everything and think about when we're gonna see each other next, which was the next day. So I meet him on the app on the 24th, we meet in person on the 25th, we see each other the next day on the 26th again at Dave & Buster's. This night was a shit show. I think my daughter was with me that night because she met somebody that night too. So it was an absolute shit show. Oh, she was with the person we don't name anymore that I remember now. So initially upon getting there, like everything was going good, and then there was a part in the time that we were around each other where something went wrong. And so I don't want to speak on it, but he ends up going to smoke a cigarette. I never saw this motherfucker again. He dipped out on me that night, and I was like, what the fuck? So I didn't know that he was gone, and I was like, all right, bet. So he ends up hitting me up that night, and we got into it a little bit because I felt like, you know, he was trying to flip the situation on me, and I was like, no. And I was like, why don't you just say this or that, you know what I mean? This was a precursor to figure out like the type of person he is. And you're probably like, well, why are you still talking to him? Because he's muy tóxico. Well, I don't know. So we end up like squashing that, and days go by, we're just texting or whatever. I think we decided to link a couple days later, but on the day that we decided to link, I end up having this similar situation with my ex, which I didn't realize until I'm telling you this story, which is weird. We were at Target and I was grocery shopping. He had a toot that day. I don't remember why, but he didn't want to come into the store, which is fine. I don't really like him hovering over me in the store, and so I was fine with him just staying in the car. But he didn't let me know also again that he was leaving. So I called him, he didn't pick up. I called him, he didn't pick up. And so I was like, well, I'm just gonna Uber home, which I didn't feel like was gonna be a big deal. Boy, was I wrong. I got home, he like zoomed in. I felt like so much negative energy coming towards me, and so I was kind of bracing myself. He comes in, he's screaming, pointing in my face, all kinds of shit. I was like, all right, bet. So I packed a bag, and I ended up, like, I had to do some really crazy shit to get out of chip battery. Anyways, so I had to do some really crazy shit to get out of the house. And so I end up, like, he's in the living room, and I quietly, like, I'm packing my bag. And I put it outside the door, like outside of my back sliding door. Y'all know my back sliding door. And so I put it outside there. So the next part of this was letting my dog go to the bathroom. So I was like, hey Wolf, do you need to go to the restroom, this and that, just act very, very normal. And I let the dog out, and then when I'm supposed to come back in with the dog, I didn't. I let the dog back in, and then I just shut the door, and I went out the side of my house that was furthest away from the door. I remember I had to close the blinds. Was doing all before I left, so there was just a lot of detail into how I was getting out of the house. So I remember I had to close the blinds because then he would see me leave with my bag. And so I closed the blinds before I left, and then I left. Sadly, my card was declining. Now I remember specifically having money on my card. I had 1,500 on my card, and I don't know why it was declining. I was like, the universe is definitely working against me, because I book through a site every time I book a hotel, book a flight, so you never know exactly what I'm doing. You'll just see like Expedia or booking.com or something like that, because I had to be very, very, very thoughtful about how I do things. Like, I was not in any way trying to show them where my location was. Oh good, it doesn't say anything. It's my Dave and Buster's card. But it also has my name badge. So I ended up not being able to book it through the site, and I had to book it directly through the hotel itself. And so I get to the hotel, and then he's like messaging me, call me. It was like 36 messages of call me. A screenshot of what hotel I was at, and I was on edge. Like, something that was supposed to be very peaceful and everything turned into a nightmare for me. That night I sat in that hotel room and I cried and I cried and I cried. I was crying and I was recording, and I don't know what happened to that video, to be honest with you. I did upload it, but for private, and it's not even on YouTube. So it was just a lot of weird shit that happened, but it's not even on YouTube. But I remember uploading it. It was like an hour long. I was listening to J. Cole, and I was like explaining to you guys how much fear, how much anxiety, how scared I was, and everything. So T reaches out to me, and he's like, hey, were we gonna link? And I kind of started having short answers and like no and stuff like that. I kind of was blowing it off. And he didn't like the way I was answering, because obviously it wasn't the same self that I normally like. I mean, I know he's only known me at this point for 4 days, but we had a dynamic of the way that we talked to each other. He didn't like it, so he called me. I was crying, and this is why that stupid little sentence, probably that means nothing to no one in this world but me, is he was like, blow your nose. And he gave me like this really nice pep talk and everything, and he was like, hey, you're not gonna stay there by yourself, we're gonna like link and we're gonna drink and we're gonna just have fun. So he came to the hotel, and we had Patron, cause Patron, and we made up little drinking games because we didn't have a drinking game with us. So we made up shit like with the rock paper scissors, and I did dumb shit of drinking games, and we kicked it. He made me watch, what is that fucking show? Fuck, I know we watched Undisputed for a while, which I was game for because I loved Undisputed. But there was some show, Impractical Jokers. He made me watch Impractical Jokers. So we just chilled and watched TV, listened to music. It was pretty cool. He had 2 dogs, and he needed to go back, and I don't know why, for the life of me, I only remember 1 dog, Atlas. And he had to go back, and he had to like feed them, let them out to go potty, but he was like, oh, I'll come back. It turns out that that night, somewhere between before he saw me or what, or I don't know when he lost it, he just notably noticed that he lost it after seeing me. But I didn't see it on his person. He had a bag with the Patron in it, he had a red cup, and he had like a chaser, he had like a ginger ale chaser. Anyways, so he had that with him, and his phone. That's all I remember him having with him, because I was like, there was a square object, it was his phone. And he had, I remember he listened to something, like, I don't know if it was Pandora or what, but I remember there was commercials, and I was like so we end up like, he was really upset, which obviously, and I hate like the dumb questions like, where did you last see it and all that, but obviously it's a part of it, you know what I mean? I'm like, hey, did you check the store, did you check this, did you check that? He's like, yeah. And he always looked at me and he'd be like, do you know where my wallet is? Like, as if I stole it. So it was a thing that was just going on for like quite some time, as if I took his wallet. But I had no purpose in taking his wallet for what. So we didn't get to see each other the rest of the time that I was in the hotel. And then shortly, like a few days, I checked out on July 1st. So in a few days I was leaving to my mom's. I bought a one-way ticket to my mom's house. I didn't have a flight home. And so I was going on, I guess, the 5th, because I have this picture in my phone where it looks like I had a black eye, but it was allergies. And I sent it to him. I remember sending it to him, and he was like, what the fuck happened to you? And I was like, allergies. And when I was like swollen, it was black. It was crazy. So I don't know what happened, because there was another little beef thing that we had going on, and why I don't remember what it was. I was like so elevated during that time. I can't remember like every single detail of every single thing, or I just try to block out negativity. I don't know. So you guys choose. But no, I was like around that time, y'all remember me, of summer 2021. I was basically flying in the air every day. So we get into something for some reason or another, and I end up like not talking to him. I'm like, I'm getting packed again, I'm about to leave, I'm gonna leave this motherfucker and that motherfucker, because fuck everybody at this point. And he's like, no, I want to see you before you go. And I'm thinking, oh, he's bullshitting, whatever, like we only known each other this time like a week or so. So I'm like, whatever, I'll be there at this time. He's texting me, he's like, are you here yet? Are you here yet? Damn, what's taking you so long? Are you here yet? Are you here yet? I was like, no, I didn't even want my ex taking me. I took an Uber. And so I get there, and I'm not expecting to see him there. I thought it was like a bullshit, like, are you there? And he was there. He comes up to me trying to look all cool, whatever, and he gives me a hug. He carries my bag because it's heavy as shit, and he checks it, like gets it checked for me and everything. And then we go to this place in the airport, and we sit and we chill, and we just talk for like an hour before I had to leave, which he was mad because I don't have like fast pass or whatever it's called. But El Paso is straight. Now, do I want it when I come back from Vegas? Yes. Do I want it when I come back from San Diego? Yes, because my god, leaving here is the shit. Like, I love this airport. I ain't gonna front on y'all. Like, at any airport, this one, they don't be tripping off me anything. Like, I have my stuff with me, they don't trip. Like, they don't care. So ain't no dogs here. So I mean, we just sat as close as we could until I had to leave the airport that time. And literally, like, it was hard for us to depart. I want to say like this part, but I don't know how he would feel. I don't know if he watches, so I don't know how he would feel if he saw this part. But if you're watching, turn it off. So there's a part like where we're like hugging each other, but I'm not looking at him. I'm kind of just like in his chest, and there's something falling, and I'm like looking up but not at him, and I'm like, what is that? He's like, yeah, there's a leak. And I'm like, where? There's no leak. And he kind of like chuckles, and then I look at him and I'm like, you're crying. And he was like, basically, shut the fuck up and all that stuff. But yeah, it was a pretty emotional thing. It was like out of a movie. It was cool. I had like a couple emotional airport scenes. Well, that time in San Diego, I met the fireman too. I don't know if I ever talked about him. So he was kind of crazy too. Met his mama too. Anyways, I leave, I get to San Diego, I let him know like I'm there, because you know, at that point he was daddy, you know what I'm saying? Like, I would tell him everything, where I'm at, I would tell him going to the bathroom and everything. And so I tell him I'm there, like greet my family. But then the rest of the night, like when my family's doing whatever, we're on the phone for hours and hours and hours. And then every day from the time I'm there, he starts like wanting me to come back soon. Like, he's like, when are you coming back? So I ended up booking a flight. My parents didn't even know. Like, it was kind of ghetto. I was like, okay, I'm leaving tomorrow. They're like, what? Yeah, they're like, I didn't know you had a date. I didn't. I was notorious for my one-way tickets to my parents and staying out there for weeks. He's like, what time is your your flight information? I remember I sent it to him blocked out because I was putting it on Instagram as well. And he's like, I already know all your information because he's the one that checked me in. So he knew my first last name, second last name. He knew all my stuff. So I was like, well, I posted it on Instagram. And so I just sent him that same screenshot. And then when I got there, we hugged. We were so happy to see each other. And then we had a little fun at the airport. And then we were talking on the phone. You know, he's like, let me know when you get home, this, that, and the third. I want to see you later, and this and that. And then I ended up like not coming back out again. So we didn't see each other for like 2 weeks after that. We met again at a hotel of his selection this time. Now this hotel had me fooled and bamboozled. When I got there, I was like, oh my god, it's so nice, da, da, da. And then when I got to the room, it was no no bueno. So I get to the hotel and I was just gonna wait for him in the lobby. He's like, no, I put your information under there. I'm gonna stay on the phone with you, and you're gonna get checked in and you're gonna be in the room. Okay. Okay. So he stayed on the phone with me, and it's cute. Like, he thought she was cute too, because we talked about it later. He's like, did you see that girl at the, I was like, she was cute, huh? And he was like, yeah, let's get a car again. But I think we would be intimidating as a tag team, like a duo. I don't think people could fuck with us, to be honest with you. But if I had a tag team character, like somebody with me by my side to tag team, some, like, pull some ladies, that he would be the person. But I don't know if they would be able to handle both of our like sexual energy. It's pretty like intense, and then they would have to be up to par too, or else it's gonna be like at least for me, I'm pretty sure he's fine with whatever. But for me, I'm like, I need the same intensity back. Like, you need to be animalistic back. So he was like, oh, did you see her? She's cute or whatever. And I was like, yeah. I don't know if he does that to test like my reaction or whatever, but I'm with the shits. So he met me, like, if he would have met me when I was with my like ex, for real, like, I was insecure as fuck. Like, I had it. My daughter, even now today, she's like, it's crazy that I lived through your insecure times, but I don't remember them. Like, now I don't even see you as insecure, because I was telling her about my boyfriend, my very first boyfriend I had in high school, and how I was like to anybody. No one can talk to him, no one can look at him, no one could breathe by him. No, he was mine. But after a while I was like, you know. There was one specific girl that I remember, and then I apologized to her later because I was just like, yo, I was insecure. And she was like, no one's ever said that to me before. And I was like, yeah, my bad. You know what, you're beautiful, like, badass bitch, and if you ever shawty swing my way, you know what I'm saying? But she was like, honestly, I didn't like him. She had a lot of things. I don't want to say anything rude about anybody, but everything that he was, she didn't like. So yeah, I like him like that. He was like, to me, he was everything. He was my whole heart and soul. Oh my god, Terrell kind of reminds me of him. Fuck. Anyways, so where were we at? We were at the hotel. So he was like telling me before he gets there, he's like, make sure you take your Eddies and everything, and then we're gonna drink and da da da. So I took 2 Eddies, and I think I had taken some when I was at home too. We had talked on like FaceTime Duo, whatever the fuck, before we came, and there was just some things that was going on, and I was like, I want to see you, like, I want to be with you, I want to hug you. And so that's how we ended up at the hotel. He comes in, and yeah, we had a nice time at the hotel. We didn't ever touch the alcohol, which was weird. You know, because the last time we basically killed a bottle, but we didn't even touch it that time. We ended up watching the Olympics, I believe, and some very interesting porn. It was yeah, I was like, turn it back. He was like, what the fuck? But then we ended up watching archery, which my son was into, and so it was actually pretty cool. Like, he did put me on. So the next time the Olympics roll through, which what, next year, I'm gonna be watching the archery because he actually put me on. And we actually sat there and he let me know, like, right off rip, he was like, I will watch any sport as long as there's something like competitive going on. I'm gonna watch it. All right, bet. So I'm gonna be watching too. So we watched that. He had a prior commitment the next day because he has a hobby and he was really big on this hobby, and I loved that he had something that was going on, and I loved it. So he was like, oh, I'm gonna go, even though I didn't want him to go, or I wanted him to stay with me, but I also don't want to keep him from doing what he loves to do. So I was like, all right, you can go. Gave me the nice smack on the ass, and then he was like, yeah, I'll talk to you later. I didn't talk to him later. Like I mentioned before, I don't hit people after, you know, things happen between us. I just kind of leave it be. So I didn't hit him, and then somewhere around like 3, because I left around 7, he left around 6. um I end up, what the fuck, I end up, he's like, hey, are you okay? And I don't know if he thought like something happened at home, or if I didn't like enjoy the night or what. And I was like, I'm fine. He sent me those, you know, those memes, I don't remember exactly what it said, but you know, like it's in black and white and there's a guy and there's a girl talking, and I don't remember what he said, but it was some funny shit. And so we talked like that, and then after that, I don't believe I ever saw him again, to be honest with you. I do not believe I did. We, at the time after the hotel situation, my OCD went through the roof, and he was dealing with what he was dealing with, and I was dealing with shit at home that he had no idea that I was dealing with. Because I never like really went into depth with him about how my everyday life looked at that time. Getting a little emotional, but he didn't know what my everyday life looked like, but it was a version of hell that I would never want to relive in my life. I have the recordings in my phone, and I just want to like let them go because I didn't know they transferred with my old phone. And I was going through my recordings because I sent a coworker a voice recording because they're Android, and I had to record it myself. Lord, my coworkers and then damn group chat. Anyways, so he didn't know what I was going through. My OCD was going through the roof. I feel bad because I did take a lot of that out on him, and I do feel like it got overwhelming for him at some point, and he just was like, I can't do this. And he never vocalized it, but he just did. But also I realized upon our ins and outs and ebbs and flows, that when he gets depressed, he doesn't talk. So around August the 5th or 6th, that was our last conversation, which, or no, maybe it was the 3rd. I don't remember. It was somewhere early August, and then he ends up hitting me up in October. In October, I learned in August that he gets in a car accident. He gets in an accident and he breaks his clavicle. But he assumed that I knew, but he had stopped talking to me right at that time. So I didn't know any of that information. Also, around, I don't remember when, I think it must have been in like July, he got orders. And so we had this talk that like, hey, you know, I'm gonna be gone, and, you know, how are you gonna deal with this, how are you gonna deal with that? And I was like, I mean, I'm built for this shit, to be honest with you, and I like my alone time. Just to be real. But anyways, so at that time, I guess he was like rehabbing and stuff, and then he gets sent to where he's going, and he hits me up in October. I'm at my mom's house again, and he just throws out random texts. So he'll just say like, go to bed, or some shit like that, like something random he'll say as a message, just as coming back to talk to me again. And then I'll be like, fuck you or something, or shut the fuck up. And then we just started talking and kind of updating each other on life. And he'll always be like, I'm just trying to get an update. Have you handled the thing yet? And stuff. And I would be like, no, 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 each time. And he's like, oh, I'm leaving until you handle the thing. So, we talked like the whole time I was in like California, and then we stopped talking a little bit, and then in November I go to Anna's and he hits me up again. I think that's when he told me to go to sleep or call me a pervert or some shit, and we talk again. So this is all 2021 still. He sends me like pictures, shows me that he's doing his other hobby because he likes golfing too, which I thought was cool. We never got to golf together. That was supposed to be one of the things we did together because I didn't want to learn. And so we talk a little bit, and then he hits me up in January. We talk a little bit again, and then he dips out. So I'm thinking January is going to be the last time I'm talking to him. I'm still kind of like doing me and doing whatever and going out. But in 2022, my ex moved out, and so bitch was like wilding. So I was out in the streets quite frequently because I didn't have to sneak. I didn't have to do any of the things that I was doing before, and I was out in them streets. And so the whole 2022, after that January talk, we didn't talk like up until June of last year. And so he hits me up randomly last year. His message is like, I love you. And his number wasn't saved in this phone. And I just remember like there was a whole bunch of one number in his phone number. And so I'm like, hit him, and I'm like, Terrell? And he's like, yeah. And I don't know what else he said, but he was like, yeah. And then he was like, tell me you love me, punk, or some shit. We just go back and forth on the phone, and we start talking still, and we've been talking kind of okay ever since then. But we go stints ins and outs without talking. I don't really put a lot on the situation, and then you guys are probably wondering like, y'all kind of seemed a little toxic together or whatever. But it's the oddest thing because I feel like out of everyone I've ever dealt with, now mind you, he's the first guy I ever dated after, you know, I was like, I'm done and everything. And he understood me like differently. Like he got my sense of humor, he understood like my shit talking, like he was just very different. And he understood like when I needed those kind of like talks and just something stupid like blow your nose. And when he said it to me, when I sent him the voice memo last week, oh, it scared me. It just took me back to like how I was feeling at that time. It made me very emotional because I don't know, honestly, that night in that hotel, I don't want to get emotional, but that night in that hotel I had a lot of thoughts, I'll just say that. And I just didn't know what to do with a lot of those thoughts, and I think he saved me from myself that night. He just always will have a special place in my heart. Yes, he's muy toxico, but I don't know. I feel like we understand each other differently than probably most. So in between all that time, like obviously I've talked to other people, developed different relationships and everything, but I do feel like some part of him is a piece of a puzzle for me and just understands me in a way that just no one really does. So he'll always have that special place in my heart where people don't understand like, why wouldn't you ever block him, or why wouldn't you ever like stop talking to him? I don't know, he just holds this very special piece in my heart that's hard to explain or to put into words, and I don't think there are words for it. It's just, it is what it is. Why do you keep leaving me? Weirdo. Oh, you're allergic to me now, punk? Oh yeah? Fulfill something we each need in our lives, and I don't know if I don't know. There's just a lot of unknowns. Are we made for each other? I have no clue. There's so many ways that I feel like I know that he's another person that is my person. My heart is a slut. My heart is a big slut. But I know he's another person that is my person. So even if he wasn't a partner of mine, like I said, he is one of my best friends. He doesn't know like all the things he did for me. I don't think he understands all the things he did for me, which is why when he goes through periods of needing somebody, I'm always gonna be that person. So when he could use somebody, I'll be that person, because I know how hard it is to go through things alone. You don't always articulate, you kind of hide in the dark, and that's me, you know. Even the fact that I articulated in the last video, like, I think I'm going through depression right now, it's crazy. And like, for instance, with that, I was feeling really down and really blue, and there was a point last week or the week before, I could probably get the date because I hate not knowing shit, so that we can know the date. But I know I sent him a message and I was like, I don't know why, but I feel emotional over you. Oh, it was Wednesday. It was the 18th of March. So I didn't know why, but I was at work last Monday and I was fucking crying at work over him. Like, I felt so sad on the inside. And I think, yeah, so that was the same weekend. I was telling Kimana, like, I don't know what's wrong with me, because I filmed that video on the 16th. So let's look. Yeah, that was Saturday. So that past weekend I just got sad out of nowhere. Like, it hit me like a ton of bricks that I felt depressed, and I was like, oh my gosh, I don't know what's going on. By Monday I was like, something's wrong with him, like, I don't know what's going on. And then I reach out to him to let him know, like, I don't know what's going on, but I hope you're okay. And then he lets me know what's going on, and shit like that happens a lot with us, like a lot with us, mostly me. And Kimana's like, if that's a soul tie, I don't want no parts of it, because it's like, she was like, I feel like you can't be fully with somebody else, like, you're always connected to him. I don't know what that is. I don't know if we would have just had this connection forever, because I'm gonna just tell you straight up, we weren't, you know, knocking them boots all the time. We had one intimate time together and that's it. So the fact that he reaches out to me even still after that, I mean, a lot of guys do. I still talk to almost everyone that I've dealt with, but for him, I feel like it's different. I don't know if I vision him a way that maybe he isn't, because some parts of me feel like he's just to himself a lot. Other parts of me feel like he's a big slut, you know? So, I don't know. I'm about to lay it down. I don't know why I have to do this. But, yeah, sometimes I feel like he's a big slut. Sometimes I feel like he's a homebody and he's just alone. And I don't know which one of him is truly him or if both of them are him, but I'm like, I feel like, well, he'll find someone and somebody will fulfill the needs that he gets from me, you know, one day. But I don't know if he's as big as a slut as I think. He's been gone for me for 3 years almost. That's fast. And I always ask him, like, are you coming back here ever? And he's like, yeah, but he never says when. So I don't know if he ever will. I would love to know what it would be like to touch him again, or hug him again, or feel his lips again, or just be in his presence again. And I would just love to know what that feeling is like, because, well, I'm a different person than who he met. And even still, like, my ex today, he was like, I know he was joking, or I don't know if he was, but he was like, if I make it big, will you get back with your baby daddy? And I'm like, I don't even know if he knows who I am anymore. Like, he sees pieces of me in this videos and stuff like that, but I don't even know if he knows who the fuck Shatori is. Like, it's taking me a while to discover it and discover what type of person I am, what I like. There's just so much to me that I've learned since not being in a relationship. I just feel, even if I entertained the thought, which I can't see it, but even if I entertained the thought, we would be so different. He would want the version of me that I was before, and I'm just not that person anymore, and I don't want to go back to that person. Kind of want to touch on me and him, because even though a lot of that summer I spent so distraught over him, you'll see from listening to this that we physically weren't in each other's presence that often, which makes it even stranger that we're still connected on any level now today, because I don't know, but I have had less with other people and they still hit me up too, so I don't know. I've never felt a connection like this, where I feel like emotions and I can feel things and I can feel like literal things, like, oh, he's pulling back right now, oh, he's, you know, feeling sad right now, oh, this or that. Or I feel nothing, which when I feel nothing, I feel like he's okay, I guess, because it's better than feeling sadness. So feeling the absence of anything maybe means he's good. I want to take it as, I don't know. I never know, but I do know when I do feel him like the most, and it's probably when he needs me the most. So there's that. I don't know. You guys are like the breath of fresh air that I need sometimes, just to release and just be like, breathe again, breathe again. I just need that moment just to be like, let me reset, let me recenter, you know? I've just felt so many emotions, but this week in particular, over the last maybe week and a half or whatever, it's just been a lot of emotions. And I love having my daughter be at an age where I can just talk to her, like, without feeling like I always have to be protecting her from like reality of life. So I can say, like, I'm not feeling my best mentally right now, and she's understanding to that, you know? And we spend a lot of time checking in on each other, and I'm grateful for that, because I'm just like, hey, you know, how are you doing? Are you feeling okay about this situation? She'll tell me, and then I'll be like, do you need a hug? And she'll say, yeah. And then I'll be like, what can you do? And we talk through these processes together of her feelings, what's next, and stuff like that. And even though it will still hurt after we have these discussions, she knows that she can talk to me about things. She gets embarrassed because some of the shit probably does feel embarrassing, like, why do I feel this way about this person? But you can't stop feelings. And I told her, and I always tell her, like, whether you express feelings to the person or not, the feelings are there. So if you stop talking to the person and you didn't express it, you're gonna feel the same grief of not talking to them anymore. Thank you for being a part of my journey in my life as I'm working towards healing myself, loving myself, learning myself. Obviously, I'm gonna have times where I do things that are probably not best for myself, but just know that every day is a battle. I am still constantly fighting with who I was and who I am, and one day those things are going to be totally different. Things are not going to be the same. It's not going to be synonymous. It's just going to be like, you were this person, you are this person. One day that's all going to come into fruition. Totally excited for that. But until then, I'm, you got to think of how much damage was done. So I've only been living my life 2 years on my own, and the rest of that time a lot of damage was done from my father, my mom, my ex, and myself, to be honest, just to be quite honest, myself, because I knew things were not right in a lot of situations and I dealt with it anyways. So, and you guys might be saying that Terrell is in one of those situations where it is not right, girl. And I would agree with you, but I don't know. I think maybe I just need for him to be healed. And it will make me feel so much better just knowing he's healed. You know? I don't know what he wants from his life, and I, like I said, I have no idea who I am, like, in his life, what role he sees me as in his life. Like, just maybe somebody that gets him when other people don't, and I feel the same way, you know. I absolutely love him, I absolutely care for him, but we're probably scared of each other. We're probably scared of what a dynamic like us would look like together. Like, what would the two of us as like that type of team, like locked in, look like? Because we're emotional beings. We have a lot of big feelings. We love hard, we hate even harder. I'm not, he probably is, but I'm not a person that can hate. If that was the case, I would have hated that motherfucker a long time ago. I would have hated my baby daddy a long time ago. I don't hate, but we do have very strong emotions. We have a lot of sexual energy. And the crazier part about it is, like, he got the scared version of me sexually. Like, I was mortified, to be honest with you. So he got that version of me sexually. So he doesn't know me fully as a sexual being either. So he didn't even get the full version. Just kidding. But anyways, I'm gonna go now. I need to give him a bath. There's so much I want to accomplish, and it's probably like 6 o'clock now. I'm waiting for Miss Thing 1 to get home because I haven't seen her since my lunch break, which was at 12:45, but I think I went at 12:52. So I haven't seen her all day, and it's weird. We didn't watch our shows last night because we were both kind of exhausted, and I don't sleep the night before. I don't sleep any night before work, so I'm gonna take the 2 pills now, see if I can tire myself out, and call it a dizzle. We have a nice, beautiful meeting tomorrow, so I'm super excited about that, you guys. Like, yes. But I love you. I hope you have a wonderful day, and